Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Ifeoluwa right in front of you, and today's video is going to be a bit serious. I really don't know why I'm even giving like serious, but really, I feel like a lot of people actually have asked me that, Ife, what do you think? What is the alternative to IELTS, especially for somebody that have had to write the exam more than once? And they're asking me, have you heard about this exam, like CELPIP? What do you have to say about it? And that's why I decided to do my research. I need to make a disclaimer that I haven't written CELPIP before, but I have written IELTS a couple of times. But yes, I mean, I've done the research for the sake of everybody asking me. So this is going to be highly informative, and you want to just watch, you want to also subscribe, and you want to share with a friend that needs it. So yes, I have my writing pad here, and I also have my phone. And yeah, you can just see at some point I'll be looking down or actually checking my phone, because I just want to make sure that every information I'm giving concerning these two exams are highly verified. All right, so let's start with the first thing we always have to start is like we need to define both, I mean, each of those guys. I mean, let's define them by their names. So, IELTS, for the sake of people that might not even know, like they just been hearing the purpose of the exam, but they don't know the full meaning. So, the full meaning is actually International English Language Testing System. So, HI stands for international, the E in it stands for English, the L language, and the T there stands for testing, and the S start of the system. Yeah, so that's done. So let's check CELPIP. What does CELPIP actually represent? So CELPIP actually also means that Canadian English Language Proficiency Program, and the C actually talks about the Canadian, that is represent Canadian. Why the E there talks about English, and then health language, and then the P, which is Proficiency Index Program, and that's how the acronym actually. But I'm also going to put it right in the front of the screen. So now the two exams they have similarities and they have differences, and that's what I'm going to be. That's the reason for this video. So let's start with the similarities. Similarities first before the differences. So number one thing I would like to say is that the exam both have four aspects, which is both CELPIP and IELTS actually have the listening, they have the reading, they have the writing, and they have the speaking. So they're actually similar on that level. Number two is that both exams or both tests have been approved by our system, which is the body in charge of immigration to Canada. So both actually approved. That's also said. And then another thing that I have here that is that yeah, both are English proficiency tests. So you're actually using to test your use of English, that is your ability to comprehend when it comes to listening, your ability to read, your ability to write, and your ability to speak confidently. So the similarities are not so much, yeah. I mean, the similarities are just fundamental, but really the differences is why a lot of people are going to make their choices. And I'm sure that's the reason why you actually click on this video. So number one thing I would like to say is that are you ready? Are you ready? The first point I would say is that CELPIP is completed on the same day. That is the reading, your speaking, your writing, your listening are all completed on the same day. But when it comes to IELTS, you can decide to. I think I mentioned in my previous video on speaking. You can decide to take your speaking test a day before, or even some days before, or a day after, or even right on the same day. But for CELPIP, you don't have that. You don't have that, should I say, you don't have that luxury. All right, another thing that I wrote here is that CELPIP is actually a 3 hours duration. In terms of the duration of taking the exam, CELPIP actually require it's 3 hours, while for IELTS it's 2 hours 45 minutes. So that means if you're taking CELPIP, you have to like, you need 3 hours of undiluted or concentration, while for IELTS 2 hours 45 minutes you're done, which is just a difference of 15 minutes. Yeah. So another thing again is that the model of the question for CELPIP, the questions are actually focused on, it's more Canadian oriented, just like what you see, like the name, like the full meaning, which is Canadian English Language Proficiency Index Program. So you can literally see that. So anything about STEP is actually more focused to Canada. So for example, if you're a student and you're studying in Canada and you want to take CELPIP, it can be more relatable to you because you're in the system, because every questions in CELPIP are kind of tailored in a Canadian lifestyle. It's just full of like, it's more oriented to Canada rather. So what about IELTS? IELTS is literally more, is general, is broad. It's not just Canada alone, because you're not just doing it for Canada alone. Obviously, people use it for different part of the country, of the world. So yeah, another thing I would like to also say is that in terms of the accents, which is the most accent that is being used for CELPI is more of Canadian accent, the North American accent. Why for IELTS you kind of use, it's a broad range of accents, which include it could be from North America, it actually be from Australia, it could even be from Europe. Yeah, so let's just talk about. I haven't done that. I think the next thing that I have here is talking about each of them. Yes, which is talking about each of, the listing. So I'm going to talking about the listing aspect of CELPI so that you will know. Yeah, at the end of the video, I'm definitely going to let you know what I think, like my advice. All right, so for CELPI, I wrote here that CELPI is actually, the duration of the exam for CELPI is actually 45 minutes, while duration of list, for listening, I'm talking about listening now, the duration is actually 45 minutes, while for IELTS, the IELTS listening is actually 30 minutes. Yeah. So you have that, that by its side. The number two thing you need to know about IELTS, CELPI, I will be talking about CELPI first before I talk about IELTS. The thing you need to know about IELTS, that's IELTS again. CELPI, the listening is that the listening is multiple choices. Like the question structure is actually multiple choices. Why for IELTS is not just multiple choice. You are filling the gap. You have label diagram, you have form fillings. It's quite a lot. It's quite diversified. So another thing you need to know about CELPI listening is that you have to listen to the audio first before you see the question. Why for IELTS listening is that you see the question first before you actually hear the audio, yeah, or listen to the audio. So that means if you're doing CELPI, you definitely need lots of concentration, yeah, because you're going to listen to the audio first before you actually see your question. Yeah, another thing again is that for CELPI listening, the questions are divided into 6 parts in terms of the division of the question. Why from IELTS, you must have added on this channel that I said that the sections are divided into 4, the first section. So you can see longer time, which is 45 minutes for CELPI and 30 minutes for IELTS, and then you definitely have longer question, which is 6 parts compared to 4 parts. I've actually said also that I also need to say is that according to a lot of people that have taken it and based on my research, it has been found that the CELPI listening is easier compared to IELTS. Yeah, you wouldn't really doubt that because really this is an exam that is basically focused on a particular lifestyle, a country's lifestyle, so it's actually easier. And yeah, about CELPI's reading. So for CELPI reading, which is also the time duration is actually 1 hour, and I feel like it's fair because reading definitely takes a lot of time. And also for IELTS reading as well, the duration is also 1 hour. So draw, no cheating. All right. So for CELPI, you have 4 sections. Yeah, you have 4 sections, 4 passages. Why for IELTS, you definitely just have 3 sections, which also 3 passages. I will also say for CELPI, is like this CELPI is scoring more goals in the sense that all the question types are actually multiple choice. Multiple choice, yes. Why for IELTS, it's not just multiple choice, it has multiple choice, and also definitely have varieties of other question forms, such as I talked about the question types. You can definitely go and look into it. It's about 10 question types. So yeah. So it's not just multiple choice. So let's go to CELPI writing. Yeah. So what do we talk about? What is happening between CELPI writing and IELTS writing? So for CELPI writing, both of them actually have tax 1 and tax. CELPI has tax 1, tax 2, while IELTS also have tax 1, tax 2. And then here I have it here that the tax 1 for CELPI is basically like you're writing an email, why the tax 1 for IELTS is not an email. You're writing a letter if you're doing general, and if it is academic, you're actually reporting. So it's more serious. All right. So also for tax 2, CELPI, I have it that it's you're responding to a survey question. Why for tax 2 IELTS, you're not responding to a survey question, you're actually writing an essay. Yeah. So literally, you can see when looking at the question type, I feel like I CELPI seems to be easier, and I think I've gotten that I mean, because over the weekend I kind of asked a lot of people that have taken CELPI because I knew I was going to do a video on it, and a lot of people that have taken CELPI said even though they've written IELTS before, they said when they wrote CELPI they had better grades than when they took IELTS. Well, everybody's choice. It all depends. Yeah. Also, what I have here is that I also have that the time. Yeah, the time actually here is that the time here is about 50 to 55 minutes for selfie writing. Why for IELTS is actually 60 minutes. And the thing is, I'm going to actually focus more on the time in the sense that the time for selfie is actually like divided. My research actually showed that they actually divided in terms that your tax one, you have 23 minutes and your tax, you have 27 minutes. So 23 minutes, and once the 23 minutes elapse, automatically rolls to the next one. Why for IELTS, literally you have the choice or you have the freedom to divide it two. I mean, your minute between the two questions, I mean, the two tasks. Yeah. So another thing I would like to say again is that the word count. Yeah, I didn't get the facts for that, but the word count for CELPI is lower compared to the word count for IELTS. So what are you going for? Let me know. Please drop in the question. We have written IELTS before. Put in the question, and if you're planning to write IELTS, let me know in this my comment section. And if you're actually writing CELPI, please let me know. So let's go to the last aspect, which is the speaking aspect. So let's hear it out. For the speaking aspect of CELPI, CELPI has 8 parts. Yes, 8 parts. And a lot of people say that the 8 parts are kind of predictable. The questions don't change. It's still the same thing they ask you over and again. So it's quite straightforward. Why for IELTS you have 3 parts, which also is not like it's actually different. Like it's just a little bit of IELTS just have this swag. You can't blame them. So yeah, this is the same question format, but I think just a little question variation. Another thing I found out there is that for CELPI you have 20 minutes, and I think the 20 minutes is actually justifiable because if you're having 8 parts, 8 questions, obviously it will require a longer time. Why for IELTS the time is about 14 to 15 minutes and you're done. For CELPI you're not doing it face to face. You're basically doing like you're talking to a computer. It's a computer connection, like it's online. Why for IELTS it can actually be online, or it can also be face to face most times. Yeah. So I need to also talk about the delivery format. CELPI is actually online only. Yeah, online only. There's no fee, there's no paper based, or it's just computer delivered. Why for IELTS you have a choice of choosing between computer delivered or you have to do online. There's a computer delivered or paper rather. Yeah, it's not like online. Even while you're still doing computer, you have to come to the venue. Why I think for CELPI it's online. So yeah, you have to come to the venue. So let's talk about the cost, the money charge. So I did my research. CELPI is actually I'm going to be using Canadian value now. You want to take some time to actually change it to your own currency. For Canadian value, CELPI is $280 Canadian dollars plus tax, and for IELTS is 359 Canadian dollars. Yeah. Plus tax too. So I think if anybody asks me which one would I go for, I'll just say that since that since that I mean they're both approved, unless you're not doing it for the purpose of Canada. Since they're both approved by IRCC, so if you want to do CLP, I think I'll give you a check. Are you actually looking at you want to do I'll also give you a check. It's all going to your purse, and yeah, I think both of them have their pros and their cons. Yeah, we can say that one. We can be like both of them actually win a lot. Like yeah, but it's all about your choice and also depending on your preparation, how fast you can actually prepare, and you only need to test the waters by doing a lot of practice questions to know which one fit you. But if you're going for a budget-friendly exam, if you're going for a budget-friendly exam, you should know by now that CELPI is budget-friendly. At least when you minus 359 minus 280, let me use my calculator, my head, that's nine, that's like $79, that you're saving for yourself. So pew. All right, even though I like IELTS, But I wouldn't say I don't like selfie, but that's just it. I hope this video have educated somebody or has given you, yeah, reading to actually make your choice. You know, I know for us in some countries, you want to take selfie, you want to like book ahead. I feel like the slots, I mean, the spaces for booking are not so much based on the research I actually did. So if you want to like take the exam, I hope this video is educative and also help you to make the right decision. So please watch and basically watch and also share with somebody and also let me know which one you're taking in the comment section. Bye for now. Bye.